That
What's
must
up?
be how the thing is. That the left side black bar is bigger or smaller than the right side.
Oh yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
But
it's tubby. Alright.
this is Final Fantasy VI, one that is arguably the best Final Fantasy game.
Like any audio?
Are you getting audio?
No. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Okay.
The early thing is a little low. It gets louder afterwards.
Okay.
So weirdly
And they
enough,
introduced an organ.
you see where it says Final Fantasy VI, ignoring the advance.
Mm-hmm.
When we got the ROM, or not the ROM, but the files for it
yeah.
to do the SNES release of it, and they went in to translate. They went in and changed the title to say Final Fantasy 3
Why?
because these
Is that
games
the,
are
it's the
coming out.
order?
These games are
We got
coming
them
out
in the
so
States?
fast. Yeah, we didn't get 2, 3, or 5 because of how often they released. We got 1 on the NES. When 4 was coming out, the SNES was already out, so they just gave us that one and called it 2. And then 5 came out, I think, around the same time, if not the same year 4 came out here in the States. So they said, fuck it, and just moved on to 6. But because they wanted to keep everything uniform, they just called it 3 here because we only had 2 other Final Fantasy games.
And then in the advance, they just said, yeah, no, it's 6.
Yeah, they named them properly with the re-releases. In the 1,000 years that followed.
Oh,
So this is when they started the diesel steampunk.
Ah.
It's not as egregious as it is in Final Fantasy VII and the future games, as you'll see.
Okay.
But this was the
It's like
first time they started using
beginning.
technology over magic. In fact, the story is that there was a giant-ass war prior to the game that effectively killed off anyone that knew how to use magic.
Wow, that seems very specific. Like a very specific death.
Mm-hmm.
Is it magic teachable or learnable too?
It had to do with the summons in this game. They're called Espers in this one. They were the ones
Okay.
that brought magic to this world, and their connection to humans allowed humans to use magic.
Okay. Oh, does this not have relation to the other ones, the crystals?
No,
Okay. So
this
it's
was
a
the
completely
first time
different world.
crystals weren't a major factor in the
Okay.
games.
It's standalone then, technically speaking.
They all are, actually.
Completely?
Not
Well, I know, but
not a
there's
single-
stuff where like 1, 2, 3, and stuff like that were all kind of existed within Crystal World and stuff like that, though.
1 through 5 all had the crystals as a basis,
Yeah.
while 6 had its own little thing, more war and character focus.
I would say though, if you're gonna be in a cold time frame, I get the idea of steel metal would be cold, but I feel like also you'd want a cover,
Yeah,
even if it's a cheap cover. You just don't want snow getting into your cockpit and stuff like that. Feels very, I mean, design, yes.
I'm gonna
but,
skip this
you
because
know,
it's part of the intro.
all- Okay.
But that's
part of,
actually the Magitek armor, if you remember that from Final Fantasy 14.
which is pure science, but they just call it magic.
They call it Magitek because it's supposed to emulate magic, but it's pure
Yeah.
science.
It's just pure non-magic. I say science, but I also feel like there's some nonsense that happens in there that isn't necessarily science.
Oh yeah, no, it's all
Like airships.
yeah, it's all sci-fi. This will not work in the manner that it is explained, but it's not traditional magic, so
True. It's not like we have mechs now, right? So, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Not good ones.
not good ones. Do you remember that
Like, I think
fucking that
The
Robot
motions
Rumble
are
mech
there,
set?
but there's no the AI's not there yet. Like what?
There were some guys in America that were building like robot suits, and Japan had already had a couple they used usually for
Oh.
industry stuff, and they were like, ah, fuck it, we
The
can have like
two
a
that
little
was supposed to
tournament.
fight, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking tournament. It was supposed to be a fight. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I know about that one. It's been a while though, so I'm gonna try and spout some information that I do remember, whether or not I do. Yeah, no, it was a guy, just like 2 guys originally that were just kind of making their own mech thing for fun.
mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know what there was a purpose for exactly, but out of just I guess I don't know if it was on a whim or a joke kind of thing, they then challenged this other mech thing that was being made by a Japanese group or company in general,
Mm-hmm.
but it was never really meant to be fighting or move. It was just a, I guess like we made this kind of thing. You can buy it. It was I don't know how much money, of course, probably a lot, but it didn't really have many functions at all.
Yeah.
It was more of a proof of concept, maybe even then. It was the same as you might buy $1,000 figurine statue thing. It was cool. You can buy
Mm-hmm.
it. You can own it. But they challenged it, and just to do it. I guess it was more of a fun thing. But then they did get a response of like, yeah, okay, and stuff like that happening. And then that started getting the right, just set this battle up now. Which was like 2 years after they said that and stuff, a year.
Yeah.
Meaning
Something
then
like that.
the Japanese company just had to attach weaponry somehow and did some basic stuff. And then, of course, the American group would have to make weaponry and stuff like that. However, no one's actually going to get hurt. There's never actually be a real battle. The tech isn't really there. So instead of having this sort of fight pseudo thing where they maybe like remote controlled them or anything like that, they kind of just Hollywooded it up a little bit. And even then, very low budget Hollywood.
So they
So they had a battle, but there was just a lot of camera trickery and stuff like that to kind of make it look like it was a fight, because they could only have like one real shot at damage, because then they can't make it again.
And here's our
So-
opening text crawl.
It was very simple.
So there was one where they did have like a little battle thing where they had
Yeah.
the American team build 3 robots or 3 suits. The Japanese team built 3 suits, and they were designed not for like a full scale fight, just like a little couple. It was like glorified.
But you mean small the mech unit things, right? Or you mean like
Yeah,
larger sets?
the smaller ones. Like they were like it was like a glorified Battle of the Robots, but they were piloting the suits.
Okay.
And they start the first fight, and the American guy's like all excited and hyped to go in. He goes in, the Japanese one like punches him, and he falls flat on his back,
Yeah.
and he can't get back up, and they call around.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty
Yeah.
much all that would be normally.
Yeah,
And that's why they use the camera stuff and all that to kind of make it look, oh, it's exciting or anything like that. No, that's where the tech is, or was at least.
yeah, no, that's the one that's the one I'm talking about. Like they had
Okay.
they actually broadcasted that, and that was the first fight.
Yeah,
The
what
dude was like
It could have been the
devastated.
same thing maybe. But yeah, no, that's it. That's where the tech is. It's very simple. You could like the motions for these kind of robot things like exist. The weight would have to be well made, so it probably wouldn't be very defensive. But you can make these motions. Well, people can make these kind of motions with enough time and money in them.
Yeah, and some
Which wouldn't
have
be-
on a
But
smaller
then
scale.
I think the core element with all mechas like this is bipedal, as though cool as it is, really isn't that great.
oh no, yeah,
and
no,
it's very hard to do in the AI.
tanks are the way to go, just regardless.
I think Boston Dynamics' whole thing right now is like the forefront, as far as I know, in terms of bipedal and not bipedal, more of leg
Like based.
terrain navigation,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because it's really cool, and it does. I think it is using legs and bipedal movement. It is great for smaller terrain
Mhm.
navigation, but if you have to scale up, treads are much better.
Yeah, treads
They're
are.
cheap, efficient. They can be fixed relatively easily. Since they're made of like smaller parts that can be quickly manufactured too, you can
Mhm.
replace them a lot faster, and they work. That's pretty much it too. They work, and they don't require any real high skill to pilot compared to, I can only imagine, mechs would,
This one move on its own. This one's
and
not
the
move on
AI
its own.
wouldn't be required either.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's cool, but I love it. But yeah.
So that was our text crawl. That was what most people were greeted with. That Mode 7 beautiful trek up
Gotta
to the
put it.
village. So this is our lovely reoccurring characters, Biggs and Wedge, with our main
Yes.
character, Terra, or Tina, if you're looking at the Japanese version.
That we walked up to this town for a reason.
So it was in the earlier text crawl, but that moved on its own. I couldn't keep it from moving.
Yeah.
We were looking for an Esper. We got word that an Esper showed up, and we're
So we
amazed
kill
that
them.
we were ordered to go and capture and/or destroy it.
Got it.
And our lovely little girl here, our main character, is actually being mind controlled. She has no will of her own other than listen to their
Oh.
orders.
And we know this. I assume.
From that
Because
early
it's about to
text
be.
conversation before the text crawl.
Okay.
Yeah. The girl takes point, and don't waste time on the riffraff. Remember what we're here for. Let's move. So continuing the what's it called? Continuing the tradition of you being overpowered for some of the early stuff.
You have your mechs.
We are overpowered. So none of this matters.
Okay, with the stuff you have on.
What I have on right now, none of that matters.
Okay.
But she knows actual magic. That's important. Sure. That's a story thing, and that's important.
Well, she's also brainwashed, so that's kind of part of it,
yeah.
I assume.
And then Espers, later on, there's a thing. These effectively become similar to our jobs. So everyone has their predetermined job, but you equip an Esper, and they help you learn abilities.
All right.
And I can't do anything with them, right? Yeah. Can I look at their stats? I can.
Looks like no. It says no. It gives you the fuzzy green effect of no.
Green effect of no.
Yeah. Or like poison confusion. That's also the other one too.
Imperial Magitek Armor. Not even Narsh is safe anymore. So they're a rural town up in the mountains. But we don't get attack. We get Magitek.
Yeah.
Ice beam.
So you just get your straight up power.
Just straight
power
up
stuff.
So that thing did 6 damage to us. I just did 201.
Yeah.
So this is the strongest you will be in the game until I want to say about the midpoint.
Then you can hopefully fight them. But then also they just level them up anyway, so doesn't matter.
Yeah, there are Magitek enemies later on in the game that you fight for story reasons. But for right now, for Narsh, they're defending their little village, and we're just kind of. We're not even here for them.
Pixel, and then you get into the fight, and there's these wolves.
And they're wolves.
Sorry, Lobos.
Fire beam.
Lobo thing. I assume it's maybe short for another word for probably.
I think it's. I don't remember the language. I think it's like Latin or something for wolf. What's Thunderbeam look like? And I'm gonna use
Doesn't really matter what you use, I assume, right?
Not really.
In fact, do you even have mana at this point?
Nope. Everything we use is on the Magitek, and because it's a machine, it's infinite.
Does the experience matter too at this point that you get?
Yes and no. So Biggs and Wedge don't. It doesn't matter if they get experience whatsoever, because this is the only time they're in your party.
Yeah.
But Terra, that starts at level 3, she'll level up.
It does, but there's only so many fights, and they're all mandatory.
I think there's some in the.
Is there a grind spot you can do?
I think there's some in the cave we're about to go into that aren't.
So you could grind mandatory there if you really want to.
Yes.
It's not really worth it though.
I think so. Fire beam.
In fact, it's probably slower to grind there, if I can imagine.
We're getting 44 experience. That's not bad for experience.
Not bad.
Leveled up. When we get into the cave, we'll see.
Number crunched out there already. That tells you when to stop grinding in locations.
There's full guides for stuff like that, yeah. Continuing what 5 did, you can walk behind the buildings and not get stuck a lot of the times. Defend the mines.
Man, it's gears everywhere. Just throw them out there.
Megaluth. And then let's see what Magic Missile looks like. Fire beam. Magitek Missile.
There's a way to tell just how much HP these things actually have, huh?
At the moment, no. There's a scan ability that tells you.
Yeah.
Is this healing force?
Because I can only imagine your beams and attacks are kind of far overkill than what they would actually would.
Oh yeah, no, they're full overkill. What's Confuser look like?
Confuser.
That looks weird. For that's it. For confusion, if it works, they turn the opposite direction.
Okay, just prevents them attacking, or
no, they can attack. They just hit their teammates too.
Okay.
they have a chance of hitting their team. Just like that, he hit himself. He did like no damage.
Yeah.
Up we go into the mines that they tried so desperately to protect. According to our source, they unearthed the frozen Esper in a new mine shaft they were digging. This must
Frozen,
be
huh?
it. Yes, frozen. Because the war was, what, 1,000 years prior to this? So I believe there's
assume
random
yes.
encounters in here.
Well,
Strange light fills the air. Do you want to learn about the save points? No, thank you. So very similar to the 5 ones, except instead of being weird circles in the ground, they're little, they're like little Undertale ones, little sparkles.
yeah. It's a sparkle. Just a non-story related sparkle.
It fills you with determination and all that.
Yeah.
So there are random encounters in here. So you can theoretically sit here and grind for as long as you want.
Yeah. Someone's done it.
Someone's done it. There's a guy that fucking played Final Fantasy VII, the original, on PS1, and got Cloud and Barret, before Tifa, got Cloud and Barret to level 99.
They did. No point to it beyond just to do it, I guess. For funds?
Just to do it. Just to see how long it would take. I think they said the game clocked out at like 500 hours.
Yeah.
I'll handle this. Stand back.
What if it just been easier to like place explosives in the mine and lock them in?
Yeah, it probably would have been.
Yeah.
We're not handing over the Esper. Ymir, get him.
Honestly, maybe just get bows and arrows, try and aim at the heads. That would help too.
So this is the Esper.
Yes. Well, we're talking.
Hold it.
That's
This
the.
thing's, they must have trained it to guard the mines. What are you talking about? You know what this is. Ever heard of a lightning whelk? Oh no, this isn't the Esper, my bad. It's a lightning whelk.
Oh.
It's a monster that absorbs lightning.
No.
And stores the energy in its shell.
Oh.
Right. So whatever you do, don't attack the shell. Got it.
Wow, they really are tutorializing that, aren't they?
So I think 5 had a few of them in the later part of the game. But this was they have a lot of story elements in the fights. In 6. This was the
Where they
first
just
time
kind
they
of talk
did
about
that.
something before the fight.
Yeah.
New tech?
And sometimes in the middle of the fight. It's going into its shell.
I will always say though, I mean, I do wonder how much work it takes to make all these pixel art stuff. For all the stuff and all the games, how they make him.
A long time, especially
Yeah.
depending on the studio. If the team has been doing it for a while, it doesn't take as long, but you know, to get every little detail to look nice, it does. But if you're asking for a group of new hires to do something pixel art and they've never done it before, it'll probably take them a while. This also was the first time they added, was it the first time or did 5 had some of this? Different battle mechanics where it requires you to wait.
Just to do it, or is it other points to waiting?
It's for because if you attack them, they'll attack with really
Yeah.
hard counters.
I'm
That's-
thinking, is it ever used for anything more than just like a gimmick like this one, just to teach you, I assume?
No, not really. I mean, this
yeah.
was the first time to show you that they can do that, and there's some characters that'll be like, "Oh, this one hits with fire when it counters. Just don't hit it while it's doing that, or have an item that absorbs or resists fire. This one counters with instant death. Just fucking don't hit it."
Good skill to have. Absolutely bullshit.
Absolute bullshit.
Like Shin Megami.
Like Shin Megami.
Like in Reflect Fizz. It's great.
So this is the fuck Reflect Fizz. That's bullshit. Telling me I can't punch.
Have you learned Pierce yet? Oops, too bad.
So this is the frozen Esper. This thing's giving me the creeps. Something's not right. So on coming contact with Terra here, frozen creature begins emitting an eerie light. What? Where is that light coming from? Ah! What was that? Wedge, where are you? Hey, what's going on? So they just got flicked out of existence.
Oh, nice.
And the Esper is breaking the spell on us,
Oh.
setting us free. So,
Bit explosive to remove a spell.
because we have like a science magic crown on our head that's keeping us brainwashed. It destroyed the crown.
No.
So it's implied that Biggs and Wedge are no longer of this world.
Okay.
Apparently, in Chrono Trigger, when you go to the Millennium Fair, there's two NPCs called Biggs and Wedge, and you would expect that to be the square Easter egg because they put Biggs and Wedge everywhere.
Yeah.
No, they confirmed that that's the Biggs and Wedge from Final Fantasy VI. They got flicked into the Chrono Trigger universe.
Oh my god. Do they say anything?
I think they might make references to some stuff, but
No.
they're circus folk now.
Okay. Good for them.
Where am I? Ah, my. And I just removed the crown. My head hurts. So this crown is what kept us under, it's a slave crown. The others were using it too, to control you. So it's
I
just
have it.
It's just a thing the Empire makes. They just put them on everybody.
I'm glad you just kept it too, like a souvenir, like your old tooth, you know.
It was robbing you.
Yeah,
of
it's
your
your
thoughts, making
slave
it so you
crown.
would never
Don't you wanna
do
keep
whatever
it?
told you.
Put it in like a box, something. Forget about it.
I can't remember a thing. Don't worry, it'll come back to you. In time, that is. Sir, you know an awful lot about these slave crowns.
Ho 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 ho. No reason for that.
A mysterious young woman, born with the gift of magic, and enslaved by the Gestalian Empire. What's her name?
Mm.
So, English localization, we named her Terra.
Okay.
In Japan, she is Tina.
Huh.
Both work. I like Terra better, but that's just because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah. I feel like Tina's a very odd one. Not very fantasy-like. Well,
her full name
not greatly
is
so compared to Terra.
Terra Bradford.
Well, okay.
Is it Bradford or Branford? One of the two.
Branford at least has that weird, like a unique sound to the Bradford.
Impressive. I've never heard of anyone recovering so fast. You must be made of tougher stuff than most.
I mean, I just sound like you got hurt physically.
It's not like we've been asleep for however long.
Yeah.
And because we didn't have, as you pointed out, we didn't have covers, they know what our face looks like.
Okay.
Open up. We're here for the Magitek Armor pilot.
Man, so that face cover is canon, huh? Well, he just didn't design like a headpiece, an umbrella,
No.
covering, nothing, huh?
Open this door right now and hand over that girl. She's an agent of the Empire.
It feels like they have the tech in some weird locations in
Magitek
research
Armor.
department.
There's no time to explain. You need to get out of here. Those fools aren't going to listen to reason.
No time.
No time.
Just go.
This way, quickly. It's his back door.
Hmm?
And so this is like a pseudo stealth mission. There's a couple of them in this game where
I assume it's just a straight path, though.
kinda
You can't really do much.
up there we just kind of walk around.
Yeah. There's not much we can really do to kind of change a path.
Final Fantasy
kinda locked into it.
2 had a similar thing to it where you had to go into a town and you were supposed to talk to very specific people. If you didn't, you would get into fights with enemies that were like level 30 to 40 and you had to go to this town at level 5.
Okay.
So it was
So you
very
died.
much implied to you're told, oh, just go to, they tell you exactly where to go to. It's like, go to this place. You will find this person, talk to them, get out, don't make a scene. If you literally talk to any specific NPC or you bump into a specific couple of one, they're like, hey, fuck you, and then they attack you, and they're like level 30. They kill you in one hit. There's nothing you can do about it.
Man, they have the bandits and the spirits right in the town. It's not good.
That's not good.
Let's really have some guards there. It's
Instead
weird.
of, hunting down this small defenseless girl.
Yeah.
Not
Not like they had
small,
guards
she's
earlier and
like,
they didn't die from some weird Magitek Armor attack. Who knows? That's weird.
she's like
Well, it didn't
18,
happen.
I think. Oh, he died. Fuck you.
Hmm.
There's a lot of enemies that do that too, where they get one last attack before they die. So that was one
very,
way they upped the difficulty.
It was aggressive that
in this game.
with his last bit of strength, he just decided to throw a wrench at you.
Mm-hmm.
As a bandit.
That's Bandit.
Yeah.
Up there's her chest. Yeah. Fuck.
And they're working with the spirits as well.
They might be training them or something, you know, or they might be in bed with them, so to speak.
It's possible.
Fuck
I mean, this guy's got
you.
only 2 things he does: leg day, and I guess back day. Everything else he seems to ignore. He said, "Fuck the arms. I don't need arms."
Fuck the arms.
Yeah.
Phoenix down. That'll be useful.
Only thing they are used for is throwing wrenches. My legs are for me to get locations so I can throw wrenches. And my back is so I can carry more wrenches.
These things fucking hurt.
Man, you are slow with that AP.
Yeah, so the ATB system in this one is much slower.
I mean, I know you get a full group, so it's a little different, but yeah, still.
As you get stronger, it does quicken. And then, of course, there's the haste ability in this game that came from Final Fantasy V. But, yeah, it's much slower visually in this one. So there's a lot of waiting around. And naturally, with the PS1 version, it seems slower because it seems slower because it loads everything so much slower.
Were-rat.
I wouldn't want to run into a were-rat. I wouldn't want to meet a guy that just looked at the full moon and just turned into a rat right in front of me. The wolf at least.
And what a
makes
thing
sense.
turned into, right? It's like, damn, you a werewolf? You a vampire? What am I? I'm a were-rat. You got cheese? I like cheese.
Like...
Yeah, you know.
There she is.
I'll eat a bunch of it. Can't go in dens. People have mouse traps, and it's dangerous for me. Also, I really got to make sure I sharpen my teeth. I go through those pretty quickly.
So we fell. The cave gave in, and we fell. And our head is fucking
Transformed
with us.
enough. I'm looking at the moon. I transform and I see a full wheel of cheese.
A full wheel of cheese. My sweet little magic user. So this is also the game where the infamous Kefka came from. With this slave crown, you'll be all mine. So
I feel like also, just putting a crown on top of them, taking it off would be the cure. It's like gonna just install it into them somehow with all your tech. The harness.
he was probably experimenting. So the thing about Kefka is, unlike a lot of villains, when he appears, he's shown up to be just kind of evil for evil's sake. And a lot of people didn't like that at first.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of insane.
Comically evil.
Not even
comically, because comically assumes it's
there's jokes
evil,
to it.
but what his goals are almost nothing. He's evil and he does bad things, but he just does it. There's no motive.
We won't play long enough to get there, but there's a part where they're attacking a small nation, and they're at a standstill because the nation's known for its impenetrable fortress defense.
Ah, yes, Bossing Say.
Soldiers of the Empire, we stand at the dawn of a new age. The lost power of magic has returned to us. We are the chosen ones. And so his plan was to poison the water supply. Just completely poison it. And
okay.
all of his men were like, but that will kill us too. And he's like, so?
Oh. Okay.
And so they poisoned the water supply.
Weird.
The time has come for us to claim our rightful dominion over the world.
Yeah, why do that, though?
Nothing shall stand in our way. Hurrah! Long live Emperor Gestal!
Like, I guess if you want to make the excuse of he has the purification process, that'd be something.
No, it's just because they
just
were in the
poison.
way. The king said to get rid of him, and he was like, fucking they drink from the water well, right? Just poison it. Get them right there.
Poison. Poison it all.
And so they do it. A lot of men
Mm.
die needlessly.
Mm.
And he's like, well, job's done. Going on to the next thing.
Yeah.